This week, autonomous trucking company Waabi raised $1 billion in new funding. $750 million came from a Series C that Coastal Ventures and G2 Venture Partners co-led. The other $250 million will come from Uber, but that amount is a milestone-based capital agreement. Joining me now is Raquel Urtasun, founder and CEO of Waabi. Raquel, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Cash. And really a pleasure to be here again with you.
Excited to talk to you. Let's start with the partnership with Uber. How does that partnership work, given that you and I have been talking for a couple of years? We've traditionally thought about Waabi as an autonomous trucking company. Uber doesn't have that many trucks. Talk a little bit about how this works.
Yeah, so the vision for Waabi was really to lead the physical AI, I would say, revolution, right? So from day one, we actually built technology that could serve multiple verticals. And over the past, 4.5 years, we've been focusing on our first product that was self-driving trucks. And now that the technology is ready, it is the perfect time for us to actually enter our next vertical, which is robotaxis. And that's where the new partnership with Uber, makes total sense, because when you think about Uber, is really, the global leader in ride sharing, is really the market for robotaxis. So that's where that, additional partnership with Uber actually resides on, enable us to really enter very quickly, very swiftly, and at a scale, right, with more than 25,000 robotaxis that we can deploy together on the Uber network, bringing that to the next level of scale that we see today.
And so are you, the software that Waabi has developed, the autonomous driving system, the physical AI system that you're developing, are you installing it in cars that Uber owns? How does this agreement actually work?
Yeah, so we will have a single AI system, a single physical AI platform, single brain that will actually drive both robotaxis as well as trucks. We will be having the software in robotaxis yet to be announced into which OEM we're going to do this, and then that will be deployed at the scale in the Uber network.
Hmm. And this is a separate partnership from Uber's deal with Lucid and with Nuro. That's another lane that they're exploring.
Yes, a separate partnership. This is a massive partnership that Uber is doing with Waabi, as you see,
Right.
the scale of that deployment that we just talked about.
And then I want to talk about the funding round in a second here broadly, but the $250 million that is milestone based, what are the milestones that you need to hit to get the full $250 million from Uber?
Yeah. Everybody's asking about, what that is. So we have simple development milestones that will be achieved, very soon by Waabi. Not, unveiling more details today. We will be talking about the partnership and other things like, which markets we will be deploying first, etc. soon, but not today. But yeah, they're very simple milestones that, development milestones. Yeah.
Hmm. Now, as it relates to the broader funding round here, so you have $1 billion in capital, up to $1 billion. What are you going to be using the money for? And specifically, I want to ask you about how you're collecting the data, because last time we had you on the show, you were talking about some of the simulation technology you were playing with. What's on the roadmap for you?
Yeah, so we're gonna use, the 1 billion of capital to really double down on our tracking product, right, and really bring that to commercialization at the scale, and then also into expanding into the new vertical. And Wabi is, super capital efficient, right? So $1 billion of new capital, basically for us, think of it as infinite capital. So, there is a lot that we can really, accomplish with this. And, I think we are, if you look at tracking, for example, we are the most stable player in the industry by a totally different dimension, I will say. So this gives us the definitely the peace of mind and the ability to really focus on what we do best, which is executing on milestones that are extremely ambitious, but we always hit in time and under budget, which really defines who Wabi is as a company. Whenever we say that we do something, we actually truly deliver always.
And the business model for Waabi, you have these deals with Uber, with OEMs as well for the trucking division. How are these deals structured? Do they pay you a certain amount for each car or truck that they're installing the system on?
Yeah, so on the trucking side, we have a similar business model to what the industry has kind of adopted, which is driver as a service. This is typically pay without talking about the Uber partnership exactly, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
typically pay in a per mile basis. For the Robotaxi side, more details to come,
Right.
soon. Yeah.
But
But but uh, but I think it's important, Akash, to know that we are a technology company, so we will not be the ones operating a large fleet of self-driving trucks or a
right.
large fleet of robotaxis either.
And so I'm just imagining here. I mean, in terms of your own business, if it's per mile and based on distance, how quickly is revenue growing for Waabi right now?
The when you think about the revenue projections, there is really a hockey stick that happens once the OEM is, the fully redundant platform for the OEM is ready and can be produced at the scale, the factory line, right? And the opportunity of revenue per truck per robotaxi is massive. So that's what Wabi is doing since day one is really built to scale. That's where for us has been very important to really vertically integrate with an OEM so that the moment that the product is ready, then you hit that massive hockey stick. And what we really hear from the customers is that on the tracking side, they are really ready to to adopt this technology. It's not anymore like a few years ago in terms of will this actually be the technology that actually is interesting or not interesting for my business. What we hear is that how many and where can you actually deploy. And one thing that I think is important also to say is that Wabi has a very differentiated business model, which is that we can go direct to customer. What does that mean? Is that instead of using a have-to-have model that the rest of the industry needs to utilize because they cannot drive in generalized surface streets, for us, since we have the ability with the superior AI technology, then basically we can go from the customer end facility to the other endpoint and basically move freight the same as is done with traditionally with humans. And for the customers, this is a massive product differentiation. This is really for the first time addressing their pain points,
Hmm,
and that actually has been has had tremendous reception within the customers in terms of this is really the product that we want to buy.
right. Last question for you. You raised $1 billion. Can you tell us what the valuation is?
Not today, not today. As you can
Okay,
imagine, it's pretty healthy and it's exciting, but
great.
more to come.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show and congrats on the funding round. And when you have more to tell us about the partnership with Uber and about the robotaxi systems, come back on the show and talk to us more about it. That is Raquel Urtasun, the founder and CEO of Waabi, here on TITD.